Domestic Abuse 7-Minute Snippet Series. Number 5, Understanding Risk. This short training snippet is part of a series of sessions created by Oasis Domestic Abuse Service in partnership with East Kent DA Forum. This is part 5 of 5 snippets. The others are signs of abuse, safety planning, safe inquiry, signposting and support. These snippets were created to give busy people the opportunity to use the 7 minutes it takes to have a coffee break, to give you a very basic understanding of domestic abuse, allow you to feel more comfortable to ask about the abuse, and offer some support before signposting to services while considering risk. We ask all managers to allow their staff the 5 additional breaks it takes to watch this series. A minimum of 2 people a week are killed by someone that they believe love them. How many of those could have received some support if we knew enough to just ask them? Domestic abuse, stalking and harassment risk indicator checklist, or because that's a mouthful, DASHRIC. The purpose of the DASHRIC checklist is to give a consistent and simple tool for practitioners who work with victims of domestic abuse, aged 16 and over, in order to help them identify those who are at high risk of harm from domestic abuse, stalking and/or honour-based violence. This checklist should be introduced to the victim within the framework of an agency's confidentiality policy, information sharing policy and protocols, and marriage referral policies and protocols. You may have to share this information on, and it's really important that that victim knows exactly why they're asking these questions and what could happen to their answers. This enables agencies to make defensible decisions based on the evidence from extensive research of cases, including domestic homicides and near misses, which underpin most recognised models of risk assessment. Among the questions, 27 for police and 24 for other agencies, this tool identifies a number of high-risk factors and allows for the gathering of further information. So these high-risk factors include question 2 and 3, the victim's perception. So are you frightened? And what are you afraid of? And that victim's level of fear will be a really clear indication as whether or not their level of risk is high. We know that having separated or trying to separate from someone hugely increases your risk. So question 6 is about separation. Question 8 is about stalking and harassment. Do they constantly text, call, contact, stalk or harass you? We absolutely know that stalking will be one of the key indicators for high risk. New birth, pregnancy, question 9. Again, while you're protecting your unborn, you're not protecting yourself. And small children running around could get in the way and be harmed. Question 10 and 11 relate to escalation. Is the abuse happening more often? And is it getting worse? We know that as abuse escalates, it is likely to end in some kind of explosion. How hurt might someone be during that explosion? And controlling and/or excessively jealous behaviour. Is somebody being controlled at home? Are they being told what to wear, where to go, who to talk to? Use of weapons. Has a weapon or object ever been used to hurt you? And this does not have to be guns or knives. This could be a heavy glass ashtray or a telephone wire being flexed in front of you. Additional high-risk factors. Question 14 relates to threats to kill. Has he made or she made threats to kill you or anyone else, and you believe them? Because that will be a clear indication of things that might be to come. Strangulation, any kind of strangulation, choking, suffocating, drowning, any attempts to block an airway, even if that means that they're putting a knee to your chest while they loom over you, preventing you from breathing easily. Sexual assault, we know that there's a very clear link between things of a sexual nature and serious physical abuse. 17, is there any other person that has been threatening to you or that you're afraid of? If this was honour-based violence, are there extended family members that could also harm you? And animal or pet abuse. There's a very clear link between anyone that would harm an animal and somebody that would do unspeakable things to you. And drugs, alcohol and mental health abuse. We know that drugs and alcohol and mental health do not make you a perpetrator of domestic abuse, but they certainly could make the situation worse. Threats of suicide is very much linked to homicide. So if they threaten to end their own life, we need to be concerned too. What is really important when you're completing an assessment of this kind is your own professional judgment. You may have serious concerns about a victim situation, even if they're not visibly high risk. So situations might be their victim's huge level of fear. If someone is absolutely terrified for their life, it is very likely that they're high risk. If there's obsessive stalking behaviour, as I've mentioned, it's more likely that they're high risk. When a perpetrator is abusing more than one partner or has a history of abuse, do we know that they've been arrested or warned for their behaviour in the past? But you feel, using the sum of all of your experience and knowledge and instinct, that something is very wrong in this situation, then they're probably going to be serious risks of harm. Whether high risk because they have scored 14 or more on the RIC, so visibly high risk, or whether your professional judgment indicates that they're high risk, a referral to MARIC should be immediate, either with or without, if necessary, the victim's consent. If, having completed your DASH-RIC, you think that somebody is high risk, then you need to refer them to a multi-agency risk assessment conference, or MARIC. A MARIC is a meeting where information is shared on the highest risk domestic abuse cases between representatives of local police, health, child protection, housing, practitioners, probation, and other specialists from statutory and voluntary sectors. The victim does not attend the meeting, but is represented by an independent domestic violence advisor, or IDVA, who speaks on their behalf. After sharing all relevant information they have about a victim, the representatives discuss options for increasing the safety of the victim and their family, and turn these into a coordinated action plan. At the heart of a MARIC is a working assumption that no single agency or individual can see the complete picture of the life of a victim, but all may have insights that are crucial to their safety. What now? Please watch the other 4 snippet sessions. If you're a manager, please allow for those 4 additional coffee breaks. If this is happening to someone you know or work with, you can call local or national helplines such as the Free Phone National Domestic Abuse Helpline on 0808 2000 24/7 for women. For men, the Men's Advice Line on 0808 80 10 327. And if you identify as LGBT+, call Gallup on 0800 999 5428. For forced marriage or honour crimes, you could call Carmen Nirvana on 0800 5999 247. But if you think that someone is at serious or immediate risk, you must call the police on 999, being clear about your concerns. And please ensure that you're making safeguarding referrals as appropriate. Please never judge. The biggest barrier to someone disclosing domestic abuse is previous unhelpful or negative responses. How would you want to be treated if this was you?